Imagine you've just had the greatest business idea ever. You're going to open this premium, highly curated coffee shop. You've locked down the absolute perfect location, your branding is just incredible, and the coffee itself literally tastes amazing. But there is one massive problem.
Wait, hold on. If the location is perfect and the product is that amazing, what's the problem? Isn't having a great product pretty much all you need to survive?
Well, if only it were that simple. You see, everyone else already thought of opening a cafe too. Suddenly, you look around and realize there are 10 competing coffee shops within walking distance. On top of that, your coffee bean suppliers decide to aggressively hike up their prices. Oh, and to top the whole thing off, a major international chain opens up literally right next door, and they're offering mobile ordering and insane discounts.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're saying having a good product really isn't enough. You're basically completely at the mercy of the market.
Exactly. Unless, of course, you have a solid strategy.
Welcome to the Business Strategy Command Center. Here is our game plan for today. We're going to cover what is strategy, Porter's 5 forces, SWOT analysis, the Brew Lab case study, and finally, a 3-step strategy guide. Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1. What is strategy? Building the command center. Fundamentally, strategy is all about deciding how a business will actually compete and hit its goals. It answers 3 absolutely vital questions. Where are we right now? Where do we want to go? And most importantly, how are we going to get there?
So it's basically like a GPS for your business.
Hit the nail on the head. But unlike a normal GPS, managers can't just type in an address and rely on a computer to do all the work. To figure out the path, we need a strategic framework. A framework is simply a structured tool that helps managers analyze information and make much better decisions.
So instead of just kind of guessing and asking, do I think my coffee shop will succeed?
Right. You use a framework to ask better, highly targeted questions. It pulls you away from those fuzzy gut feelings and forces you into concrete, structured thinking.
Moving on to Section 2, Porter's 5 forces, the external threat.
Okay, so if we're surrounded by all those other coffee shops you mentioned earlier, how do we actually measure that competition? Is there a specific framework just for that?
There is. We use a really powerful tool designed by business strategist Michael Porter. See, when you launch a business, you aren't just operating in a vacuum. You are dropping your company straight into a battlefield. Porter figured out that there are exactly 5 major external forces constantly attacking your business from the outside. And if you aren't prepared for them, they will absolutely destroy your profits.
Here they are, rapid fire. 1. Competitive rivalry. 2. Threat of new entrants. 3. Bargaining power of suppliers. 4. Bargaining power of buyers. And 5. Threat of substitutes. Let me try to connect this back to our coffee shop example. For number 1, competitive rivalry, since there are 10 other cafes on the exact same block fighting for the same morning commuters, our rivalry is incredibly high, right? And for number 2, new entrants, opening a cafe doesn't exactly require a billion-dollar factory. It's relatively easy for a brand new competitor to just pop up across the street. Spot on. Easy entry plus a ton of similar businesses means super high threat levels, which just squeezes your profit margin so incredibly tight.
And notice the brutal squeeze happening here between the people you buy from and the people you sell to. Imagine you totally rely on this one rare coffee bean that only 2 suppliers sell. Well, they have massive supplier power. If they decide to double their prices tomorrow, you kind of just have to pay it. And on the flip side, you've got buyer power. Your customers are literally standing outside holding their phones, comparing prices, and reading reviews for 5 different cafes in a 1-mile radius. They have all the power to demand lower prices, or they can just walk down the street. Man, that is a real squeeze on the business.
It really is. And the final nail in the coffin can be the threat of substitutes. Now, a substitute isn't just another coffee shop. It's a completely different product that satisfies the exact same customer need.
Oh, I get it. So if the customer's core need is just, please wake me up in the morning, a substitute could be an energy drink or a matcha tea or even just brewing a pot of coffee at home.
Exactly. And that wraps up Porter's 5 forces. It's an amazing framework, but notice one big thing about it. It is purely focused on the external environment, everyone else outside your company walls. Which brings us to Section 3, SWOT Analysis, the internal reality.
So Porter makes total sense for outside threats, but we got to look in the mirror eventually, right? What about the business itself?
We absolutely do. And for that, we use SWOT. It is arguably the most famous strategic tool in the entire world. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The crucial thing to understand here is that SWOT acts as a bridge. It helps businesses identify their own internal capabilities while still keeping a really close pulse on external conditions.
Let's start with the internal metrics, strengths and weaknesses. These are things your business currently possesses or lacks right now.
Strengths are your internal advantages. Maybe you have a super strong brand, you've got incredibly loyal customers, or maybe you own some unique patented technology.
And weaknesses would be those internal limitations, things like running out of funding, having incredibly high operating costs, or maybe even just poor management.
Correct. The key takeaway here is that you can control, or at least directly influence, your own strengths and weaknesses.
Now let's flip over to the external side, opportunities and threats. These are conditions happening out there in the world that you have absolutely zero control over, but you desperately need to respond to. Opportunities might be a suddenly growing market trend, or maybe some new favorable government regulations.
Well, threats would be things like a global economic downturn, a really sudden change in what customers actually want, or, circling back to Porter, a massive new competitor entering your market.
Precisely. You don't control the economy, but you definitely have to strategize around it.
Okay, everyone, lean in and listen closely for a second, because this is the #1 place where people get tripped up. Whether you're taking a big business exam or pitching your startup to investors, remember this rule. Strengths and weaknesses are always internal. Opportunities and threats are always external. Burn that into your memory right now. If you can change it from inside the company, it's a strength or a weakness. If the world is doing it to you, it's an opportunity or a threat.
Section 4. The Brew Lab Case Study. Putting it all together.
Now that we have all our tools, let's step into the shoes of a lead strategist for a fictional premium coffee business called Brew Lab. Let's see how this builds a complete picture. Wow, okay, looking at their SWOT profile, they've got a major strength in their loyal customers, but a serious weakness with their high costs. They see an opportunity in online delivery, but face a massive threat from large chains. Yes, and when we overlay Porter's 5 forces on top of that, the picture gets crystal clear. Rivalry is high, buyer power is high, substitutes are high. So what's the big strategic takeaway here? BrewLab has a fantastic product and super loyal fans, but they are operating in an incredibly hostile, cutthroat environment.
And this right here is exactly why we use both frameworks together. SWOT asks, what is happening inside and outside our business? Porter asks, how fiercely competitive is our industry overall? When you combine them, it's literally like two puzzle pieces snapping perfectly together. You get this flawless 360-degree view of the entire battlefield. Simply put, SWOT plus Porter equals vastly better strategic thinking.
Section 5. The 3-Step Strategy Guide. Your action plan.
So how do you actually apply this stuff today? We've distilled everything down into a simple, highly actionable plan that you can use whether you're analyzing a case study for a big grade or launching a tech startup out of your garage. Step 1. Look inside. Take an honest assessment of your internal strengths and weaknesses. Step 2. Look outside. Scan the horizon for those external opportunities and threats. And Step 3. Analyze the competition. Run Porter's 5 forces to see just how hard it will actually be to win in that specific market.
And just a quick reminder, especially if you happen to be studying in AP exam mode right now, please don't just memorize the definitions of these frameworks. The true key to mastering strategy is application. You should always be prepared to explain what a specific factor means and then instantly apply it to a real business scenario, just like we did with the coffee shop.
Now it's your turn. Think of a brand that you buy from every single day. Can you identify their biggest internal weakness? Better yet, can you name all 5 competitive forces trying to destroy them right now?
Better yet, can you name all 5?
That is such a great exercise to do. It really makes you realize that survival in the market is literally never an accident.
Exactly. Great businesses don't just have ideas, they have strategies. So what's yours going to be? Thanks so much for stepping into the command center with us for this explainer, and keep analyzing.